Are you tired of hearing nothing but crickets in your Facebook group? Well, watch this video for my tried and tested tips to help you improve the engagement in your Facebook group. So if you're struggling to get people engaged and talking in your Facebook group, by the end of this video you'll have my step-by-step Facebook group strategy that will help you improve your engagement. I've used these tips myself to create multiple engaged Facebook groups, and now you can too. For the best blogging tips and advice, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every single Monday. Okay, so there should be no doubt about the value of having your own Facebook group. They're a brilliant way to build relationships with your audience, to position yourself as an expert, to give value and help people, and also to warm up cooler leads. However, to do any of that, you need engagement. And how do you get engagement? Let's get stuck in. The first step is to have a really clear idea and intention behind what you want your group to be. So do you want it to be full of lots of people promoting themselves, or a place of learning? What do you want it to look like? Because that is the first step to creating a really engaged Facebook group. So the second point is cohesive branding. So branding that fits in with your website, your social media, the other assets that you have in your business. So that is the color scheme, but is also the voice of your brand and all of those aspects. So it really needs to feel like an extension of your brand. Think when people join your Facebook group, they might not necessarily know who you are. So having hosted by and then your name on your banner of your Facebook group can really just set the tone and let people know that you are the person in charge of the ship. You can also put in there a call to action. So on my Facebook group, it directs people to an opt-in freebie that's relevant to the group, and you just want it to be really clear that you are the one in charge of that group and what people are going to get from being in that group. So the next step is get to know your ideal audience. So really know who you're talking to, know your ideal group member, so that you can know more about their struggles and their problems and what keeps them up at night. Therefore you can create content in the group that's going to help them. In doing so, they want to stick around, and they might even bring some friends and expand your group. So the next step is, now you know who your ideal group member is to devise the group and create the group that would appeal to them. So if you're trying to attract a sophisticated person, then they're probably not going to want lots of spammers and things like that, just self-promotion in the group. So make sure the aesthetic and the tone of the group matches the people that you want to attract to your group. So step 5 is to set the ground rules. So you might sound like a bit of a policewoman or a man or a teacher, but it's really important. If you say there's no self-promotion, then there's no self-promotion, and you have to be prepared to enforce that. And if people keep on breaking the rules, then don't be afraid to kick them out, because it's for the greater good of your group as a whole. So the next thing is really important, to have a welcome thread. So have somewhere that people are able to drop their business link or to say hello and introduce themselves, all in one central place. This means that the wall isn't being spammed, if you like, with people joining the group and saying hellos on the main wall. So direct anyone that does to the welcome thread, and then delete those extra posts and threads that appear on the main wall. So the next thing to do would be have a dedicated promo thread. So I don't allow promo in my group, but once a week I started to have a self-promotion thread, and it means that people kind of wait for that thread, and they know that they're going to get that opportunity to promote themselves or what they're doing and what they're working on, and it means that they don't then spam the group the rest of the week. So having one place where they can all show off a bit in one place that's always the same is really, really useful. So my next point is to go live. Going live helps you create such a brilliant connection with your audience and should never be underestimated. So in my group I go live once a week, and I go live other places as well at different times of the week, but it's a set time every single week, and they all know it. And I'll also jump in and do ad hoc lives just to really build that relationship and that connection too. So the next step is to lead by example. So if you want people to talk, then you're going to have to get in there and talk. If you want them to be engaged, you're going to have to do that too. So really set the tone of your own group by showing up, and that is just so important. So the next thing I like to do is be the connector. So realistically, in the world, you can't know everything, and you can't be the best person to help someone with everything. For example, my group is all about blogging, but I don't know about Blogger, the platform. But I do know that a few of my group members do know about that. So if someone asks about Blogger, I don't just ignore them because I don't know the answer, but I connect them and I say that this lady might be able to help you, and I tag her into the conversation. That way people still feel like they're heard, people feel like they're valued, and it means that I have done a good thing. I've fixed up the two people that can help each other, but I don't necessarily have to be the one with all the knowledge. So the next step is to cross promote. So make sure you're cross promoting your Facebook group. Part of the engagement is going to come with when your group grows. So the more people you can get in there that are the right kind of people, then it's going to be better for your group. So cross promote it. Use Instagram stories, Facebook Live, use all of the platforms you have tweets going out to direct people to your group, and always be thinking of ways to get more people, more quality people into your group. So another thing I did to make it easier for me and everyone else really as well is I bought a URL for my Facebook group. So it's mamapreneurrevolutioncommunity.com, and I just redirected it. So it was simple to do in the back end, and it just means that if I'm ever on a podcast or doing a Facebook Live, I can just say that, and it's a lot easier than having to say facebook.com/number, and it just makes my life easier. So it just directs to the Facebook group, and is just a really nice way to do that. So another thing is to have member only training. So as I mentioned previously, I do once a week in my group where it's only members that can access that training because it's in the group. And I also have then other educational things and other prompts through the week that are set. So they're content driven. It might be asking people to share their elevator pitch or share something new that's worked for them, or lots of different ideas and topics that go out every single day. So every single day in my group there will be a talking point that gets scheduled, and we do vary it. We don't have the set things every single week the same because it gets a bit boring. We're always finding new things to put in there and shake it up a little bit. But having those conversation starters is a really great way. And even if you're putting the conversation starter in and then you're answering it yourself to start with, that is what's going to have to happen. But it's a great thing that people know that you're going to drop some sort of conversation starter in the group, and so they'll start looking out for it on a daily basis. Another idea, and is actually how my group started, was to run a challenge. Now my group started as a group specifically for a challenge and then got extended into being a main group, but you could always run a certain challenge within your group, because that, by the nature of a challenge, it gets people talking, it gets people working together, and it gets people engaged. So running a challenge, whether it's just a couple of day challenge or a proper 5-day challenge, whatever works for you, but it's a great way to sort of foster community and get people engaged. So my last point is to invest in your group, invest time into your group and make it a priority. A Facebook group is such a brilliant asset to have. Think of them as warm leads. They're people that know about you, they're waiting for you to help them and to sort of influence them. And so it's almost like having a second email list that you can just drop into on a really casual basis even, and create engagement. So make it a priority. At the beginning, you're going to have to put more hours into your Facebook group. You're going to have to be answering most of the questions because there's going to be not a lot of other people in there. As time progresses and it becomes an amazing, almost self-sustainable system where you get people that, and it's a really great idea to sort of let your audience and the rest of the members of your group answer things that they know about. So when the group starts to grow and starts to build engagement, don't always be the one that's jumping in there first, but let other people show their skills too, and that's really important. Let them feel like they're valued and they're part of the community, and then you can always jump in when necessary, but it's really important to let people have their say too. And with that comes this self-sustaining group that you don't actually have to do as much with as it progresses, and as it gets bigger you might have to police it more in terms of spammers, but actually I think people know, and if you develop a great community, which I have in mine, is that people don't tolerate spammers in my group. They report it, they just go tumbleweed on the post, and that comes with having a great engaged group, is that they know what's not acceptable, and so they do some of the work for you as well. So now you know exactly how to create an awesomely engaged Facebook group. I bet you know what I'm going to ask you to do now. I'm going to send you to mine. So if you want to join a community of women just like you, I have a secret society where I share up-to-date blogging tips and advice to help you turn your blog into a business. So I'm going to put the cards up and the link below so you can go and join the Mamapreneur Revolution, which is where it's all going down. So if you like this video, please let me know by liking it below, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if that's what you're into, and I'd love to hear your comments. So let me know if you've got a Facebook group and what your biggest struggles are, and I'll be in the comments answering the questions. See you next week.